Are you ready to go from underestimated to unstoppable? Well, you found the right place. Dolores Jones, your comeback coach, here to help you out, showing you how to bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad decisions, and to give you some insight on what it means to be unstoppable. But not just to wait for 1 year. I want you to go from underestimated to unstoppable every single day. I know back in the day, when they would pick their teams for kickball or different things, maybe you were like me. Nobody wanted to pick you. It happens. And now people struggle with rejection. Why? Because maybe you're not their favorite cup of tea, or maybe you're not one of the 31 flavors like Baskin Robbins. But who cares? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are unique. And when you grab hold of how unique you are, and what your power move is, and what your advantage is, you will set yourself up to become unstoppable. Underestimated. When you think about underestimated, that means people write you off. They don't think that you're going to measure up. They don't think you're going to measure up. They don't think you're going to measure up. So they walk by you. They ignore you. They don't listen to you. They won't even invite you to the party, but who cares? You got your own house. You got your own thing. So let's talk about several steps to go from underestimated to unstoppable every single day. Number one, you need the mindset. You need a shift in your mindset. Some people think, well, if I move to Atlanta, if I move to Vegas, if I move to California, then things will happen for me. Well, here's the thing. Wherever you go, you're going. In other words, if you take unbelief and you take an attitude and hatred and all this other stuff to California, you'll just be a hateful person in California. But if you begin to play the cards that you are dealt and you learn how to play the game, that's a whole nother ball game. So earlier today, I was listening to one of my coaches that I just love, this young woman. Her name is April Franks. And April pulled out a video that she did last year, and honey, she let the people have it, me included. And she said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of people who are saying they have faith and they don't do anything about it. She went on to talk about that where we are today, we are manifesting the life that we have based upon what we choose to do and the mindset that we have. Now, April can talk about that. She can talk her talk because she's walked the walk. April went from being raped, being a single mother, a high school dropout, fired from her job one day before her birthday, I think it was 2007, broke. She lost her house in foreclosure, but she vowed to herself, this is it. I am never gonna be broke again. So she's very passionate about when people come to her and they want answers. But if you don't work it out, then it's on you. And so her whole philosophy is manifest it. It's nobody else's fault but yours. Especially people of faith. The people of faith, and sometimes we are hypocritical. Y'all know what we mean. We'll say, trust God. And then we'll sit there and we'll whine, and we won't do anything about our situation. And we'll say it's the black man, it's the white man, it's the purple man, it's the boss on the job. But who cares? The only person stopping you is you. The word says, according to your faith, be it unto you. He didn't say according to your neighbor, according to your mama, according to your ex-lover. None of that. We put too much weight on other people. Well, if they give me so many likes, then I know I'm doing the right thing. No, not exactly. You're serving up your solution, your product to people who need it. And in order for that to happen, they have to be able to find you. So sometimes listening to April, can I be really, really honest with you? She gives me the kick in the ass that I actually need. She really does. She's like, why sit in my courses? Why ask me for the tips and you're not going to do them consistently? And one of the things that she shared, which helped me up my ante and get my stuff together. Now, I still got another level to go. She said, what? People don't care what you look like. They want to hear what you have to say. Because I used to say, well, I'm not dressed up and my hair's not right and I feel fat today or I feel unattractive today or I'm not this person and I'm not that person. And she's like, so what? So what? It's not even about you. And oftentimes when we really hone in on the fact that this is not about us, that this is a message that we're supposed to deliver, or a service that we're supposed to provide, it's so not about you. I mean, she called us to task this morning. In other words, she said, if you say that God called you to do it, no excuse is good enough. She said, if you don't like me, don't even watch my channel anymore. She said, for the people who this is for, they're not going to be offended. Because some of us, as she said, are pussyfooting around. I said, oh, as I was laying there in my bed. Laying there in my bed with all my good stuff. All of the lessons. And then some people have the nerve to say, well, I listen to these videos, but it doesn't work. Well, if you work the plan will work for you. You have to be consistent. And sometimes people are so nice, they'll say, oh, I see greatness in you. Come on, get back up. But no, sometimes you have to tell somebody, watch me go get it. Tyrese said it one time. He said, you sitting there. He said, you sitting on your ass. I said, oh. He said, watch me go get it. Watch me go get it. Your job is not coming to your door. That business is not coming to your door. In other words, if you don't have what you said you have to serve and to deliver, take the sign down. When you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, why do you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken? Because they got chicken. Have you ever gone to a chicken restaurant, which I have before, and they said, sorry, man, we're out of chicken? Now I get that smooth attitude because you knew what time you closed, so you should have had some more chicken cooking. What do you mean you don't have any chicken? This is a chicken establishment. Okay, so you got some mac and cheese. Okay, you got some pies. But the reason I'm here is because you make fried chicken like Colonel Sanders. So think about that when you talk about your life. When people look at Dolores, and I'm telling you that you can go from underestimated to unstoppable. But if I'm sitting there talking about since I lost my baby, and y'all, they're coming after me, and this and this and that. But I try my best to be as authentic and vulnerable to let you know that you don't wake up always wanting to do it. You don't wake up wanting to do it. Honey, do you know how many countless days and times I've made a video and the negativity, that negative small voice said, you know what, you need to take that down. You need to take that one down. That ain't right. That ain't right. You need to take it down. You need to take that down now. Like what? Yeah, the makeup was off. The lighting wasn't perfect. I think you shared that story before. Because I get people who will come on and say, I already heard that story. And I said, well, either you listen or you shut the hell up. How about that one? And see, sometimes when we really show up authentically and powerful, because powerful women are usually called bitchy. It's like, oh, she's a bitchy. Now, you couldn't have paid me years ago to say the word bitchy. Why? Because I would have been concerned that I would be judged because I was raised a certain way. But actually, it wasn't my upbringing. My upbringing was be real. But when you get into certain affiliations, you're trying to be this way and that way. It's kind of like when former First Lady Michelle Obama, they were asking her a question right after she left the White House, because there are certain ways she has to carry herself. And they said, as women, can you have it all? And she said, and I quote, that shit don't work. We were like, oh, it made the headlines. First Lady says that doesn't work. As if to say, if she says the word shit, it takes anything away from her being significant. So we have to stop and we have to really press pause sometimes and look at it and say, what script am I following? Will the real Dolores Jones stand up? Will the real Samantha Green stand up? Will the real Marcus Meisel? Will you stand up? And whoever else is watching this, would you please stand up? Why won't you? Because you are afraid that being and speaking your truth means that you're going to lose friends, relationships, jobs, contracts. But wouldn't it be a shame to lose all those things and still not be fulfilled? I heard one writer say it like this. He said, the greatest tragedy is to be successful and not fulfilled. Oprah asked President Joe Biden a question, and she said to him, she asked him, she said, are you living up to the expectation that you set for yourself as a man? Have you achieved your vision? And this is what the president said, President Joe Biden. He said, as far as accomplishments, I don't look at measuring myself as far as accomplishments. He said, I look at the standard that my mother set before me, my parents set before me, to be a person of character and courage, to be kind, and to be giving, and to be loyal to those that are loyal to me. And I said, you better come on and preach. See, we got this twisted. We got it, let me show you how I do this. Let me pull up bling and let me pull up shining. Let me show you my diamonds. Baby, that don't mean anything. You could go to the pawn shop and buy a diamond. You could, listen, because I've pawned several nice diamonds and somebody got those diamonds on the low. Because I pawned them. I pawned my wedding ring because I was done with that situation. I didn't want any more reminders of that foolishness. And it was a nice one, baby. It had yellow diamonds in it, baguettes. It was the bomb, but it didn't mean anything to me anymore. So if you're trying to impress people based upon what you have versus who you are and what you stand for, let's just be honest. You're really not happy. You're really not happy. And here's the thing. Sometimes you don't want to shine. You don't want to shine because people are like, look at her. You were born to shine. There's I think Nelson Mandela said it. He said, our deepest fear is not that we're not powerful. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. Have you ever seen a bright light? You come out of darkness and you see a light and you're like, oh my God, hold on. You have to reset your vision. At night when you're sleeping in the dark and you go into the restroom, but you didn't turn your bedroom light on. So now I have to cut the lights off and I have to stand there for a minute and then open my eyes so I can refocus. Because if not, I'm going to be thrown off. That's how you are, Lynn. Beverly, we are bright. We are a force to be reckoned with, but we live in a negative society and some of us stay in relationships too long. Intimate relationships, family relationships, job relationships, professional relationships. In order to go from underestimated to unstoppable, you have to also surround yourself with Les Brown calls OQP, only quality people. Only quality people. I know y'all went to the daycare together. Y'all was homies. Only quality people. Now, if your best friend is a person of quality, then you stay with her. I gotta shout out my best friend since 5th grade, Lysandra Hagens. She's the big 5-0 now. So, honey, she's somewhere on the beach somewhere in her bikini. I'm joining her next year, okay? Or later this summer. But she is a quality person. That's why we have lasted since 5th grade. We're like 10 years old or something like that. So we're over 50. Well, I'm 50 and then she just turned 50. I turned 50 in November. But those are friendships that you talk about. Lysandra is constantly, when I would feel like giving up, she would say, D, I had this dream that you were speaking in front of a lot of people. And I was like, I would? She's like, yeah. And then she'll remind me. Sometimes she'll just send me something and say, you know what? You are bigger than that. And I made some dumb decisions as a teenager, honey. Oh my God. I stole my boyfriend's car. She was in the car. We were racing through people's yards. I'm just telling y'all how ghetto I was. And she never judged me. She was just like, oh, Jesus. She's like, Dee, just give him back his car. I was like, no, saying you don't understand. When I didn't want to clean up the house, she would come in the house and clean the dishes so I could go outside and play. When I was taking 2 hours to get ready because my self-esteem was so low, she would sit there right with me. She wasn't for sale. I don't care who got mad at me. She was still right there. Quality people. People who can be with you when you're down low, so that you can go high and they know that's just Dolores. That's just Lysandra. Because people are going to judge you. People are going to judge you. But go from underestimated to unstoppable. I remember one of my college professors when I went away to a journalism school, Columbia Journalism School, many years ago. My goal was to get my bachelor's of broadcast journalism. I succeeded. I wanted to be like Oprah. And certain things I've accomplished like Oprah. You got to have somebody that you see excellence and you want to strive to be like them. You can't be them. And I remember going around and I would, we were practicing speaking in front of the camera. That was part of the learning curriculum. And my friends, they were like, go ahead, Miss Little Oprah. And so one of the professors I will not say his name at this time. Yes, I will. Mr. Collins. So Mr. Collins introduced me to someone. He said, this is Dolores Jones. She wants to be like Oprah. And I'm thinking, what's funny about that? He was underestimating me. He was underestimating me. And that's how I took it. Why else would you laugh at my dream? Now, what he needs to know, in 2007, I stood center stage with Oprah on her show. And she recognized and celebrated me. This little girl from Kansas who lost her mother when I was 5 years old. My mom died of a heroin overdose. I lived in an abandoned home at the age of 17. I bathed at convenience stores. I did all of that. But I never lost my praise. As Beverly says, the gospel singer. And he's laughing. But then there was another professor, Dr. Bill Silcock. Years ago, we were in the news station on the set, ready to do hard news. And I had to fight to get there. It wasn't just because I paid my money like everybody else. It was, what do you mean I'm not articulate enough? Meaning I don't talk well enough. I don't have the look. And so when they told me I couldn't, I sat back to see what the standard was. And the standard were white girls with blonde hair. And I watched them just lose it. So when I went back and auditioned again, I told the person, I said, listen, I saw what you said excellence is, and I am not impressed. I was 1 point away, and I said, I came here, I pay you my money to make my mistakes. So whatever you need to do, you need to rework that thing. So then the news director said, are you telling me that I should put you on TV because you're black? I said, no. I'm not telling you to put me on television because I'm black. I'm qualified and I happen to be black. And then I got a little, real cocky. And I said, and now since you're at it, I'm talking to you because of the people who are going to be afraid of you. So you never know who came before you. Who came before you? Whose shoulders are you standing on? You don't have time to play small. Yeah, he's But as I sat on the news set that day with Mr. Bill Silcox, and I felt horrible. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst. I'm fumbling over my words. We're trying to go to the commercial break. And I could see the people who didn't want me to be there. My eyes were so focused on all the other people except Dr. Silcox. And when we went to a commercial break, he said to me, he touched me. He said, Dolores, I want you to remember me when you're famous. And I'm thinking, Dr. Silcox, I suck. What do you mean? I absolutely suck. And now I'm laughing because that was back like in 1994. And since that time, I've been with Oprah. I've been on television. I've been doing things my own way. I've started my own business. He still stays in touch with me. I actually have his letter of recommendation in a actual frame just to remind me of those words, because he didn't say you're going to be famous tomorrow. He just said you're going to be famous. And I'm thinking, I am? I didn't see it for myself. But that's why you need people in your inner circle that will see it for you. If you have a professor or a professional that sees it for you, I don't care if they're black, Japanese, Asian, Hispanic. Dr. Silcox didn't look anything like me, but he was Team Dolores. And I'm going to tell you how else I knew that. One of the things was he knew that I was a strong woman of faith. I was a part of the gospel choir at Mizzou. And one day I was asked to MC that service. So a lot of people's like, when did you start MCing? I'm like, wait a minute, way back when I was in college. Little did I know that Mr. Silcox and his wife and their child were going to be up in the corner in the balcony of Jesse Hall while I was doing what I do well, just praising God and leading people into worship. So when I went back to the TV station, KOMU TV in Columbia, he called me into his office. He said, hey, Dolores, I want you to know that I was in the audience last night. And I was like, you were? He said, yeah, and I saw you. I saw you do what you do. And so my question to you is, what does God want you to do? He said, my job is to shape you into a reporter. But what does God want you to do? See, I would tell people, I want to be a talk show host. But some people were underestimating me. See, in order to go from underestimated to unstoppable, you have to be willing to do what is necessary when it is time to do it. You have to be willing to do it afraid. You have to be willing to do it your way. It's like what Bruce Lee said. He said that you must adopt whatever is helpful. Adopt it if it's helpful and useful, and reject when it is not. Anything that is useless, he said to reject it. We're talking about Bruce Lee. Now, he's been long gone, but he left his mark, his legacy. People are still talking about Bruce Lee, the Kung Fu greatest martial arts that we knew. And then everybody else, start getting their part and they start stepping up. But there's somebody who's doing it. And if you want to know how to do it, do it. And then put your own spin on it. Nobody's ever going to be Dolores Jones. Nobody. And you don't have to be. That's not, I'm a child of the King. I'm a vessel being used by an amazing God. But you have the same opportunity. But if you're sitting there counting ducks, talking about when you're going to do it, but you won't do it, even if you do a little bit of it, go from underestimated to unstoppable every day. When I couldn't do a lot of radio, I did a little bit. When I basically was forced to leave my job at a radio station here in Kansas City because my supervisor, he wanted my daytime, he wanted my spot. I was the afternoon drive person. That's the most coveted time slot in radio because everybody's listening. And I was known as Dolores Jones, the drive time diva. And then I started to share my story about being homeless and bathing in the basement of Donnelly College and coming home to the place and doing homework by candlelight and earning a 4.0 GPA, not just for one semester, but for the 2 years I was there. And people didn't know it because I didn't wear it on my face. I dressed up just like this every day I went to class. My teachers didn't know that I arrived at the college 2 hours early from the Metro bus. That wasn't important. It wasn't important where I was coming from. It was where I was heading. And so the Kansas City Star, they got word of this young woman on K107 at the time. It is now Magic 107.3. I said, go do something. Who is this young woman that's talking? Who is this young woman who partnered with the adult basic education program and said that she would tutor people who wanted their GEDs and that she would bring a team of people with her? And then after she did it, they broke history by the number. It was like over 160 something people got their GED in record time. So once they did that interview, I was like on the cover of FYI, big write-up. Honey, do you think people were happy? Do you think people were happy? I had people at the radio station stop talking to me. I had people just lying and creating havoc between one of my friends and I in radio. Oh, yes, honey. They started. My grandmother didn't want to read the article. She was upset with me because I bared my soul. Because I thought in bearing my soul, it was going to bless people. And it did. But it also pissed some people off. And sometimes your family members will be pissed off because they don't like what you got to say. It's like Mariah Carey has her latest memoir out there. And her brother and sister are trying to sue her because they said what she put in there is a lie. I said, well, hey, I mean, that's her perspective. That's her experience. But they're upset now. And people may question, well, why would she have to go do that? Because, she has all the money she needs. She talks about her ex-husband who was controlling. Mariah Carey used to eat macaroni and cheese. She wanted her dream so bad that she would eat macaroni and cheese. That's what she talked about. But people who don't know that, they'll stand there and they'll judge her. They'll underestimate her. Nowadays we got these little battles. Who can sing better than whoever? Baby, the fact is they both are they're stars. Do you know how many stars are in the sky? No, you don't, because you can't number them all. But they're there, and God knows they're there. And some of those stars are shooting stars. But sometimes, think about this. Do you see stars when it's bright during the day? And this is an epiphany for me. Do you see stars in the sky when it's high noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 8 o'clock in the morning? No, you see the stars when it's dark night. See, you becoming a star is revealed in the darkness, honey. You are developed. A diamond is developed in fire. It looks like a piece of coal, for the people who don't know the value. But when you put the pressure on it, it becomes a diamond. And some of those diamonds are clearer. And when they're clearer, they cost more money. So I want you to think about your life and your calling. When you get clear about your calling and your purpose, you're going to get more money. That's just the truth. That's all I can say about that. It's the truth. Anyhow, as my great-grandmother would say. Dolores Jones, your comeback coach, is here. I am talking about how to go from underestimated to unstoppable every day. Don't just wait for some big old boom. Do it every day. I had to do it when I was depressed and debilitated. I had to get up and get in the shower. Sometimes it was just a victory to sit on the edge of the bed and sit up for 10 minutes instead of sleeping for 24. There's a quote that says, adversity introduces a man to himself. You really want to know what you made of? Wait till things get hot. Wait till the stuff hits the fan, as the old folks would say. And then tell me about who you really are. I'm not impressed. If your life was fantastic and you zooming past me, I'm not impressed. I want to talk to the underdog. I want to talk to the person who was up under the tree. I want to hear the story of the person like April Franks, who was raped, and then she had a baby in high school, and then she dropped out of high school, but now she's a millionaire, and she's showing other women and people who will listen how to be millionaires, and she does it every single day. You can go on Facebook and find her group. There's a page she has called Build, Align, and Monetize with April Franks. And I'm shouting her out because, like I said, she will get in your tail. Don't waste my time. I'm not here to, some people like, but you're my friend. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to help you be the force that you're supposed to be. Like with my son. But you're my mama. And we tell our children, I'm your parent. I'm not your friend. Don't talk to me like I'm your friend. Put some respect on my name. There are times I had to take my son to the ground, honey. Oh, yes, I did. He's 6'2" now and age 22. We don't have to do those things anymore. But, baby, I put all this sexy on him. I said, listen, I didn't take it off your daddy, and I sure as hell ain't going to take it off of you. And I began to tell my son stuff. I said, listen, you got to have a trump card. You play the violin, you speak Spanish, you have all these things. But the number one thing is kindness and respect. And if you don't respect your mother, nobody else has a chance. Even God put that plan out there to obey your parents, that your life would be long on the earth. I'm not saying if your parents is, bugging out and calling you goofy names and treating you like trash. I'm not saying that. But if you have a parent, an authority figure in your life that's trying to teach you something, even when you don't want to hear it, and do it when you don't want to. There's a difference. My son and I bumped heads. Boom. He was 18 years old. My motto is, when you got too much mouth, it's time for you to move out. If you want to disrespect me, you got to go. I helped him get connected to a transitional living program. He didn't want to go, but he still had to leave my place. I gave up the duplex and got a studio apartment. I was not playing with my son at all. Oh, he thought I was the worst person. He thought I was the worst mother ever. Oh, yeah. Oh, he got angry. He went off. We went to therapy. He still went off. I said, but baby, you can't come back up in here. You can't do that. And I had to release him and let him find himself. Going from underestimated to unstoppable. And several people in my family, he thought, girl, you're doing the wrong thing. I said, no, he better thank the Lord Jesus that it's summertime outside. But today, Ricky is 22 years old. He has been living on his own for at least 3 years. He has a newer car. He started with a car he bought. First, he started with the car I gave him. And then he bought a car offline. And then he financed his first car this year. He's traveling all over. All he has to do is get up and go. Get up and go. I said, son, live your life. He's a substitute teacher, meaning no matter where he is, he can always work. He started at McDonald's at the age of 14. I took him up there. I said, listen, I got an amazing young man that need a job. Because I'm not buying Nikes. I'm not buying Air Jordans. I'm not buying any of that. You got to work for that. And you got to use your money to do that. Now I'll take you out to see the things you want so you can set up, your goal. But I'm not getting ready to give you $300 for a pair of tennis shoes. That's rent. And then I taught him how to journal. He come with some attitude. Ricky started writing in his journal when he was like 5 years old. I said, you know what? Don't bring all that up in here. All that, we're not doing that. You go to your room and you write in your journal. Ricky outreads me now. Took him to the library. Going from underestimated to unstoppable. If you look at the history right now in the United States of America, a black man is more likely to go to the penitentiary than Penn State or end up dead. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. I don't care who sent child support or who didn't send child support. God blessed you to be my child. I have a responsibility. Motherhood first. Because I asked God for a child. I am grateful to God. My son now hugs me. He kisses me. He says, Mom, I want to thank you. I was really mad at you. And I said, okay, I understand. But I'm your greatest cheerleader. I'm down with you when nobody else is. I'm all you got. At the end of the day, I am all that you have. Because mothers are going to be down with their kids. Their kids could be wrong. And mama would be like, my son didn't do that. He didn't do that. Well, if my son did it, he had to deal with it. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. You need to go from underestimated to unstoppable. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to stop playing. Stop playing small. Stop playing with yourself. Telling yourself one thing and then doing something else. Coming against, your mindset. Here's my other motto. Wherever your mind is, your behind will follow. Y'all heard that song. It says, your mind is here, your body is here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. You can say all day what you want to do, but I'm going to look for the proof in the pudding, boo. I'm going to look to see, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you producing? Underestimated. Don't worry about people who are underestimating you. They don't have the authority to declare and decree what happens in your life. You do. What are you going to do with all that? Are you going to sit there and keep singing the same songs? He didn't call me since I lost my baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wasted many years and days waiting for a person to come and tell me he loved me and validate me and blah, blah, blah and all this. Because I was conditioned to believe, on some levels, if you had a good man, then you had a good chance at being successful. Well, listen, I now know I got God.